All right. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? Glad you're all back. We got like lots of people tonight. 15. Cool. So I kind of wanted to, with Riley aside, we'll go ahead and I'll just put him up there just as a look. Am I even being shown here at all? Yeah, I am. All right, good.
Hmm.
All right. I just wanted to kind of outline what we're going to be doing this summer, briefly. So we got some ideas. When a good times for us to come in and or whatever or contribute. If you have an idea of something that you would like to present, I would be all for giving you an hour to present some kind of crazy new idea or something that has really been impactful for you. I'm assuming, of course, everybody's reading. Yes. Books of your choice, good stuff, hopefully. I ran across a couple of them that I really, really like. Noriko, who's on this call, also is running a book club, which she calls the Breckenridge Book Club. And they brought in the author for oh, help me out. The title of the book is called
It's
Conversation with Fear. And they were able to bring in the author who is also a level 3 trainer, examiner from the East who wrote the book, and she was able to ask and answer question or was able to answer questions that we had about the book. And I know that next
Murmur
month,
Murmur
Blakesley,
Blakesley.
yeah,
A
thank you.
Conversation with Fear.
It used to be called in the Yikes Zone, and then
Yeah,
she changed
yeah.
the title.
It's a good book. I highly encourage everybody to read it. She has lots of anecdotes in it about, how she worked with instructors. I'm sorry, not instructors, how she worked with clients to get them through. And she has some really, really nice analogies that I would highly encourage everybody to read. It was nice to go back through it again this year. I've already
It,
read it a couple of times. It was good. It's still the third time. It's a very good read, and it's easy reading for those of us who don't like to read like long things. I encourage everybody to at least read it if you don't even come to the book club, that's fine.
And she actually mentions about the arm. I just can't remember. I'm on chapter 10.
Right.
And but you all were talking about the arm down, and
Mhm.
she talks about that in one of the chapters. Now I have to go back and look it up.
Yeah, we could go on and on and on about the arms and how arms, play a role in skiing. Um, I know among us trainers, we've been talking about being more active with the arms instead of being so static with them all the time, and how that affects our ability to pressure and rotate and angulate through the turns. So I think arms are important, but at the same time, the big analogy I use for arms has always been arms will not put you in balance, but they will certainly take you out of balance. And that's kind of been my approach to arms. So anyway, Mike, you there?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. Mike is going to be, are you ready for like in 2 weeks? We're not going to meet
hopefully.
next week. Obviously, that's 4th of July weekend, and I'm not going to do anything on a holiday. But Mike will be doing a technical foundations, kind of like an introduction to it, around the 12th of July. Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a brief technical foundations. We're only going to be working on focusing on two movement patterns of the fundamentals. So
Yeah. And if
we
it
just don't
goes
have
well,
time
and
to do it all.
if it goes, yeah, we're not going to do it all because it's like a 2-day clinic, right?
Yep.
But it will give us a good idea of what is important in the technical foundations. Dionne, around the end of the month, we'll be doing a clinic on inspirational skiing. This is a topic that she brought up that she wants to do. The week after Mike, if Mike has If Mike gets through his whole thing, I will go ahead and do one and do a clinic then, and it's going to be right now I have penciled in shut up and listen.
Hello. I did.
And then right after the first of the month, Jim Shaw has agreed to come back, and the topic he's going to be doing is the physics of skiing. And because he's an examiner, it's going to be not only is he just level 3 and below examiner, he's an RMT, but what are the requirements that he has for expectations on physics, your knowledge of physics from a level 2, level 3, and RMT perspective? What does he want to hear if he starts asking you questions about physics? Does that make sense?
That's nice.
Yeah. Then at the end of the month, sorry, late in August, I'm bringing in Tom Hickok. Some of you might know who he is, a lot of you don't. He's a brand new RMT guy who just passed it at Winter Park this year, but he's a children's examiner, has been a children's examiner for quite some time. And I'm going to have him, he did a cat model demonstration or clinic for the new hires last year that I was just totally blown away by. So I thought it'd be really kind of cool to have him come in and do like a little hour presentation on that, on the cat model, and expect it to be interactive. And then I've also contacted Tom Goulden. I have not heard back from him yet, but I'm hoping he'll be back in touch with me after the summer's over. I know he's out flying planes right now.
Hey, Chuck, could
Yes,
you
sir.
mute Todd Rose's stuff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Any questions on any of those? Sound like an exciting summer so far?
Sounds like a good lineup.
Yeah.
Very good.
And I'm going to be reaching out to some others too. So it's not going to be just them. I got another one that I'm putting together, but it will probably be sometime in September. And it's going to be it's either going to be either Chandler or Ryder. And it's going to be the whole thing is going to be about what did I have to do to myself? What changes did I have to do to my mental thinking in order to pass an exam? Okay. Ryder's been very successful at it, but I know that Chandler has almost as many fails as I do in the skiing portion of it. But what did he have to do in order to what changes did he have to make? Those are always kind of interesting topics to examine and have a little self-reflection on.
You know, Chuck, I would bet I've got a number of not quites in my arena
Oh, I do
that
too.
might even rival you.
Well, my
We'll
my
call them not yets.
yeah, my mantra is less of me and more of you guys. So I don't think anybody wants to listen to me prattle on about it. So I'd like to bring in somebody else who had some, you know, that maybe not part of this group who has some personal reflection on. Because I remember when Chandler came back after failing it, after I had passed it, me and Kellen had passed, and we knew he wasn't there, and he knew he wasn't ready. But the next fall came around, and all of a sudden I look out, and this guy's coming down the hill, and I go, "Who the hell is that?" Because he didn't ski anything like he had before. He was a completely different skier, and that was like, okay. And this was a couple of years ago, but what did he, because he was, very frustrated person like the rest of us after you fail a few dozen times. Um, what did he have to make changes mentally in order to get to that next level? And I'd like to hear from a guy like that. Because
Chuck,
Chandler is one of the few guys here in the Rocky Mountains who passed his level 3. It's probably the only guy who passes level 3 Alpine and his FS3 in the same year. And there's only like 15 or 18 guys in the entire Rocky Mountain District who have an FS3. That's freestyle three. That means you can do crazy stuff, right? And coach crazy stuff. And tremendously good skier. And anyway, anybody else got any other topics they want to talk about?
Hey, Chuck, this is Ralph.
Yeah.
Along the same lines, bringing some of these folks back to talk about what went well, what didn't go well.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone have like a compendium of lessons learned for taking exams? And again, like you talked about, it's great to hear from experiences, but if I'm more of a visual guy and I'd like to read it over and try to study it,
Yeah.
more like a compendium of lessons learned, perhaps.
Not that I know of, no. It's
Okay.
more going to be along the lines of anecdotes of failure. Right?
Well,
I
that's
mean,
still pretty
for me,
powerful. I mean,
just as an anecdote for me, the change I had to have was not what I was wanting to do, right? And I think the important thing that I learned was, and I'm not trying to steal a show here, but is that the thing that you fear the most, the thing that you really, really don't want to do, is the thing you need to work on the most.
of course.
So for me, it was outside ski turns, right? I just did not want to do them. I didn't like them. And I was bouncing, all I was doing was skipping around it this way, right? And trying to find it. And I had to have like Frankie Zampini on one side and Jim Shaw on the other, just saying, no, stop doing that. I was talking about, I need to improve my angulation and they're like, no, that's not it. That's just not it. And they didn't tell me I had to do. They finally just had to slap me around and say, that thing that you don't want to do, you need to be doing that. And that's the part that really stuck with me was, that's all I did. That was at the very beginning of like the middle of November. And by the 1st of December, I was doing it. I had an hour after every lesson, and I would go out and do an hour's worth of outside ski turns every single day. And about a month in, Jim came skiing by and he was like, that thing that you're doing? Yeah, keep doing that. So
Thank you.
that's my anecdote. That's the change that I had to make. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to work on your recall. Anybody got any other things they want to talk about? Anybody got anything they want to that would really, really resonate before I kind of bounce into something else? No? Okay, cool.
I do. I don't know how many people are interested in this. This is Joanne.
Yeah, go ahead, Joy.
What about aging skiers? I know they have some clinics on the east that talk about, coaching to aging skiers.
Right. Yeah, yeah, they call them SS1s and SS2s.
Yeah, I want to take a clinic on that, but it would be kind of neat to hear some people talk about that. Because anatomically our bodies may change over time. We might evolve into something that we weren't when we were 25 or 30. So the question is, so how do we, teach to that, or how do we look for clues on
Yeah, cool.
Well,
It's not wild. Oh, go ahead.
I think out west, they're actually having a senior specialist.
Yeah, they have a senior
I say,
specialist. Actually, it's in the
and
Midwest too.
I actually did a couple of clinics on teaching seniors, which really were not all that helpful. And I've been working on primarily changes in women's bodies, because that's the ones that I know. And I think that probably
That's exactly what I was going to go
there
with.
is a level of male menopause equivalent.
It's called brain fog.
Well, I'm not sure that it's any different at age 20 than 60, but I won't go there.
Exactly.
But I think, there's changes in bone, in posture, in weight distribution. Uh, I'm happy to talk about that. But again, I know very little about uh, the male since I'm primarily a women's provider, but I can carry it through a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd be
So there,
interested in
yeah.
that, Rebecca, if you wanted to do a night of that. That would be really cool. I mean, well, we'd all benefit. We have a lot of female skiers that we,
Yeah,
you know.
well, I had it in the back of my mind to suggest that. So thank you. That was not a plant.
Okay. Yeah,
H-
I
How,
actually have my SS1. I haven't gone for SS2. It's not a nationally recognized pin like a CS is, but it started in the Northwest, and they have a thick pamphlet of all the stuff. And and if Rebecca refuses to speak to it, I can go ahead and speak to it. Obviously, I can't go into the depth that she can about women's biological changes because I don't experience those myself. But it's the key. It's all around the cat model again.
Well, maybe we could do a joint session.
I have no problem doing that. I've got it
Uh,
written down.
because
So
I'm more comfortable talking about the women's side than uh, the male. So
yeah,
maybe we can divide it up and do a joint session. Let's talk offline so we don't waste time
yeah. Let's get together, Rebecca, and see if we can come up with something because
okay.
it's actually, I think you'd find it really interesting.
h-
It's not necessarily some guidelines, but it's definitely some things that will help resonate. So,
how about how each of the fundamentals, what it does for our skiing?
can you be more descriptive?
What each of the fundamentals that we have, what it affects with our skiing.
So, okay, that's like a broad subject. Can we be more narrow? So the
Um,
fundamentals exist all the time,
oh yes,
varying
but
degrees.
right, but um, so,
how do we get different outcomes?
um, not only how we get different outcomes, but um, with a um, with skiing, what fundamental is the most important? What fundamental for this, whatever they're doing at that time, what fundamental is the most important? Then what fundamental is the second most important?
For given situations, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
So I've actually played with this idea in a while in the back. I haven't done anything about it in a while. I call it dialing the knobs.
Okay,
And it's about how we adjust the fundamentals to get different outcomes for different kinds of skiing. So
okay,
for instance, how we would run gates is completely different than how we would do moguls,
okay.
right? We would dial back one fundamental and dial up another fundamental in order to achieve the results we need to have,
Yes,
right? Because if we tried to race like we do in gates in the moguls, we would
yes,
probably have some disastrous results,
of course.
you know?
You know, the fundamentals are going to be kind of weird, and you're really starting to get into technical foundations at this point.
Yeah.
And I know for the presentation I'm working on, I'm going to be dealing with two of the fundamentals, but I'm going to be giving some examples of what to do to go explore and experiment with the movement patterns without even being on skis. And I think that'll be a good introduction to get you started in that realm because it's really hard to prioritize them. Everything is going to be situational. There is no black and white.
Yeah. So let me think about that, go back and redress that again. Because that was the thing that triggered me to actually do the fundamental webinars that I did, put
Okay.
them together. But they're incomplete. There's probably still some errors in there. Probably need to highlight them again, but it's not going to be this year. But yeah, the whole idea was, well, it was twofold. A, I needed to know more. And B, was how we adjust those fundamentals for different outcomes, right?
Okay.
So let me see if I can put something together in that realm. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Chuck, I have some thoughts on that too that I don't want to bring it up now because we'd be going down a rabbit hole, but I'd be happy to talk to you about that.
No, go ahead.
So
You got just
I've done some things with that in the past, like written up
no.
several pages of detail on how one fundamental affects the other fundamentals, that kind
So Scott is going to volunteer.
of thing.
Thank you, Scott.
He's volunteering before he's voluntold.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I have
Um,
no problem with putting together some kind of thing with you, Scott. Maybe we could present it together. All right.
Jack, a quick question. Often I hear about the main fundamental and the primary fundamental and supportive fundamental or secondary. How do we identify in current situation which is which and how to combine this together and at the same time address other outcomes that are kind of related? So not to talk about too many things at the same time, but address something that actually
So yeah,
can be
so
described.
so what you're saying is getting it more narrowly focused. So we have a primary fundamental,
and
like
and
fore aft, and
and supportive.
right,
In
and
if
then
we're talking about something like if we're addressing something that we want to we see and something that we want to improve, and
uh-huh.
to how to properly identify what is in this
Okay.
condition primary and supportive without taking something out of content so that something from different fundamental or different situation that's
Yeah, that's always a tricky one to do because you could be if you're in just a lesson situation, you just go with what the clues that are in front of you are, right?
exam like teaching, like for instance teaching exam.
Yeah, but when you're in an exam, right, you're kind of locked in and you may have to adjust, even though it might not be the primary, right? So, or you're doing an MA and your task is to do the primary is going to be edge ski to ski pressure, and your secondary is going to be edging, right? Those are the two things that you need to talk about, even though the primary problem is going to be fore aft, right?
Mhm.
And you're going to stand there, you're going to be like, well, one of the reasons why you can't do this is for another fundamental. And then you have to describe the motor mechanics that are happening to it and why you can't do it. He can't get pressure to the outside ski because he's balanced on the inside ski. The reason why he's balanced on the inside ski is because he's using the inside ski to support himself because he's back the whole time, right?
I
And
have
you
a
could be,
I have a flow chart that I may drop in the chat room just to
yeah,
for
yeah.
everybody to see if to just invite everyone to see if that those make sense.
Yeah, that's more the problem with that topic is that you can get stuck in the weeds really, really quickly. That's why we need to put something together. It's gonna I like the idea of dialing the knobs and how that affects the fifth fundamental, because the fifth fundamental is kind of the sum of the first four fundamentals. Fifth fundamental being regulating the magnitude of pressure through ski snow interaction, or how ski snow interaction is managed through pressure, right? It depends on how you want to look at it, but yeah. All right, let me think about that in a little bit. That one's a little bit more. I want to keep it sharp and to the point. Any others? All right, cool. All right, popcorn style. Anybody remember their last lesson? Not your best lesson, but your last lesson.
I
do.
can't remember what I had for
I do.
breakfast.
I remember my last.
Yeah, like if you had it yesterday,
I
could you describe to me, give me one detail, give me one detail that you remember from that last lesson you had?
I'll start off the popcorn.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had two little kids. I've had them for a couple of years, and I generally, don't like to teach or don't often teach kids, but these two are something.
Right.
They look like little snowmen by the time we were done. And I was getting the older girl, she's 6, doing, whirly birds, and the little boy who was 2 years younger is just like, no, I'm just not ready for that. He's like, but we had a lot of fun. I just did a lot of different things with them to get them to move on their skis in different ways, getting her out of her wedge, getting him more comfortable with a little smaller wedge because he's only 4. But
Cool.
they're pretty good little skiers. They're going to be pretty good little skiers. So we had a blast. We had a blast.
Good. Good.
So I
I'm gonna popcorn to, I guess, Rebecca.
yeah, I actually had a really downer last lesson. So I had never ever's a group of 6, and one of them was a heavy-set black woman who just, I tried to get her boots tightened. She refused because it was hurting her. So her boots were loose, and therefore she couldn't turn. And I got everybody else eventually making turns, coming down what we call the chicken wing, which is essentially making turns. It's got a really nice, gentle slope. And she ended up walking down the slope. And I just felt so frustrated that I could not engage with her and get her enough motivated um, to try it and do it. It's like I couldn't get her to tighten her boots. I couldn't get her to just do anything. She just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This hurts. That hurts. I have a cramp. And I just like felt, wow, what a sour note to end the season. Uh, not being able to get somebody down the carpet, and it's like everybody else, they could have been ready for the lift, but just could not get her.
Yeah.
That sounds like an instructor that cares, and although you care, you can't do everything for them.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, what was your last lesson you taught this year?
I had a younger gentleman that had, well, I'd say younger, um, probably in his early 20s. He'd skied before and was just wanting to be better at it. And we worked on rounding out the turns, and uh, it progressed well. I uh, uh, took him up to an intermediate slope when he wanted to, and showed him how to get down the steeper part, 6-shooter. Chuck knows what that is. So
That's not intermediate.
well, I mean, that's not what the sign says.
Yeah.
So
We got lots of signs that lie at Winter Park too.
yeah. Well, anyhow, he got down the steeper part
Good.
without falling, and I was happy about that. And then when he got down to the less steeper part, everything was falling in place, and and he was able to ski the rest of it. He just, was not able to actively ski that steeper terrain. So
Cool. Anybody else?
Chuck, I'll go. So
Yeah.
very similar to Rebecca, I had another individual, probably a woman in her 30s, probably mid 30s. And so she was with another group and they gave her to me. Said, hey, you take her because she's having trouble. So we worked at some basic, she was a first timer, worked on some basic techniques, typical things that we do. Then we went to the same place that Rebecca was at, the chicken wing. But before we got there, every time she would take a few steps forward, she would get scared. And this was pretty flat terrain. She would get scared and fall back and then lose and go back to her old habits. And when we got to the chicken wing that Rebecca was talking about at Killington, I probably should have let her walk down. I was kind of more persistent with her. I should have realized, you know what? It's probably time to let her walk down a little further to get past some of this and then pick it up again. But she kind of pursued. She fell a bunch of times. I helped her up. We tried different techniques. And then we got back a little bit late, too, for that matter, after the lesson was over. So I learned that lesson pretty well. Sometimes you have to just give up and, take a break and maybe change something more. I mean, I just kept on trying different techniques. So that was a lesson I learned pretty hard.
Yeah. Failure is a great teacher, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is.
Even perceived failure. So, who else? Anybody else?
I'll go if you don't want to go, Chuck.
Yeah, go ahead.
At Loveland, we were doing some new things this year, and that was all beginner lessons for adults for all day.
Okay.
And I started doing it early in the season, but it really got developed for my last lesson. We got the lesson out, we got them started, broke for lunch. And at lunchtime, I told them, okay, we're going to eat lunch together. And after lunch, we're going to take 30 to 40 minutes and we're going to learn about our boots. And we spent 30 to 40 minutes going through learning how to buckle boots, how the boots should fit, the socks, literally everything, how to deal with micro adjustments and everything else. And most of the group looked at me and says, wow, why don't they do this when you're trying on boots and getting them fit for your lesson? I says, because they won't take the time. They're just trying to get you in and out. And once you get out there, I take the time just to make sure there's no pain. And then we continue on with our lessons. And I looked at him and says, how many of you would have been happy if everybody showed up? And I says, great, we're all here. Now let's take the next 40 minutes to an hour and let's go sit inside and figure out how to put your boots on. And they all thought that breaking it out that way and taking the time at lunch to go over it was great. And they really liked it because once they got out in the afternoon, everybody was skiing better because their boots actually fit like they were supposed to and they knew how to use them.
Cool. Cool. Good. Scott, you got anything you want to add? No?
No, yeah, I mean, I could talk about lessons, but nothing's really coming to mind. So
Okay.
I-
Christine,
I'll add.
Popcorn.
Go ahead, Alona.
Sorry. So my last lesson was with the women's group, the women's intermediate clinic that I was teaching for the season. And one of the key issues that they all had, that I had 4 gals, is that they kept their weight on the inside ski. And so because of that, they were aft and they had difficulty directing pressure to the outside ski. So I spent time with outside ski turns and trying to have them understand and inclination and angulation over the outside ski to help them manage the steeper terrain that we were going to go on. and it worked somewhat. They were a motivated group of gals, and so that's to me a success. Everybody was trying hard.
Good. Good. So, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but almost all of us went to like a bigger picture and the turn shape, like the whole student, and just let's hold on to that for a quick minute. So, I read a book recently that I really, really enjoyed and I thought was pretty profound. So enough so that I read it again. The book is called The Lion Tracker's Guide to Life by Boyd Vardy. And I highly encourage you guys to read it. I think it's really, really good. And the book is about, it's got a lot of platitudes in it. So I'm not going to be talking about any of the platitudes. I'm going to be talking about something a little bit more narrowly focused. But it's about he uses tracking a lion with a group of friends of his as kind of an analogy for these overall platitudes. But the key parts that I got from it were were a couple of things. One of them was obviously you always have to be turned on in the bush because you're tracking lions. And I don't know about you, but lions are a lot bigger than you are and have big teeth and nasty claws, and they don't like to be snuck up on. So you always have to be kind of aware of what's going on around you. And the other thing that was really kind of profound for me was the little things, the little details that they could pick up from just watching the tracks of the lions and how they could track and how far all the information that they could pull from those pieces. Where they were going, direction they were going, how fast they were going, whether they laid down or not, things of that nature. Just all these little details that were really, really important for, for where you're going, even though you can't see the goal, right? The goal is to find the lion, right? But you can't really see the goal. But all the little things that kind of keep you on track, even though at some point in time you might lose the track. You don't know where the track is going. And there might be times where you might run across something where the track takes you in a different direction. But that's going to that platitude side. So I'm not really as interested in that. But I do want to do something that will help. All right. All right. So everybody stand up. All right. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see my lovely face. All right. If you have shoes on, could you take them off for me real quick? It's better if you do this bare feet and or in socks. I had advantage of these nice wooden floors, which help a lot. So, all right. So everybody lift up your right leg. Okay. And then now stick your leg out. How is that? Everybody feeling good balance on that? What happens if I kind of wave it around a little bit? Right? Cool. Where is your focus when you're doing that task? Specifically, where is your focus when you're doing that task?
My foot.
Core.
Huh?
Core.
Your what? Your core?
On core.
Cool. What other, that's what you're focusing on is your core?
Yes.
What about other people? What are some other things that you're noticing?
My foot.
And
Which
your
other
leg,
foot?
and your
Foot.
whole standing leg and your core.
It's
Hips level.
Hips level, cool. What other things?
Micro adjustments on my foot to keep me in balance.
Which foot?
The foot
Standing.
that is my supportive foot.
Ah, there we go. So
Slide.
you're really getting down to the like little nitty ditty detail, right? And the
and
idea is great. I mean, what happens is when we lift a leg up and we stick it out, most people focus on the leg that's stuck out, right? I need to lift a leg and I need to stick it out, right?
Yeah.
But that's not keeping you in balance, right?
Nope.
It's this foot here and that pressure that moves back and forth between one toe and the next, right? Across the foot.
But also, where are your eyes?
Well, I mean, hopefully your eyes will be straight ahead. I mean, we're not really looking at, um, urasana. What is that word? Help me out, Joanne.
Asana.
Yeah, your focus point. What's the word again?
Drishti. It's called a
Drishti.
drishti.
Yeah,
Drishti.
yeah.
Drishti.
So that's like a yoga term that's very, very useful when we're doing balance exercises. We'll have focus on a point in space or a point on the wall or something like that that helps us with the balance because it gives us actually a third, a third, almost like having a third leg, right? It gives us a point of reference.
Now, that's
But
also done, ballerinas do that all the time. You have to be looking in one direction when you're doing pirouettes and all kinds of
It's
things.
called spotting.
yeah, exactly.
And you need to breathe because if you hold your breath, that's not helping at all.
Yeah, but most of the time when I breathe, I just breathe.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it. That's that whole thing. Breathe, stupid. You forgot to breathe. But even though I'm focused, I got that point that I'm looking at, and I'm doing something with the other leg. I might be going into Warrior Three. I might going into Half Moon. I could be doing some kind of bind and all. As soon as I take my focus off of the supporting leg, that's where bad things start to happen. So we always have to be kind of focused on little details, points that are the most important. Okay. So when we go back and we reflect on everybody's lesson that they gave, the question was, what was one detail that you can remember about that student? And probably the person who had the most luck with that was probably Mike, because he's talked specifically about boot adjustments. Does that make sense to everybody? So as we move along this journey to, your pin and stuff like that, that's like, the way we kind of I looked at it was like, that's like the lion's roar. That's over the horizon. We don't know where that is, right? But we need to be focused on the details that get us from here to there. And that, that's ironically, we came back to the one thing I didn't want to do in order for me to get my level 3 was to do outside leg turns. Reason why I needed to do outside leg turns is because I did not align over the outside leg using my feet, ankles, and knees, right? I needed to figure out how to balance on the outside ski doing those things. Those are very specific details I needed to do. Does this resonate with anybody? Or am I just completely completely like lost you?
Works for me.
No, makes sense.
All right, cool.
I have to take off for another meeting, everyone. So we'll
That's
see
all
y'all,
right.
see y'all soon.
Bye, Mike. Thanks.
You're too important.
So, and then the last little bit I'll probably put into this is that, how does this is translates to your own personal journey, right? How do we focus on the details, but how does this translate to a lesson environment? Because we all described lessons that we had, but we need to be kind of focused on those little details about how the movement that we're trying to change is affecting the skier that's in front of us. And if we can be the most specific we can about that, the better we'll get at teaching and the better we'll get at an MA part. So I have got some skiers. And all I want you to do is I want you to watch the skiers, okay? This one just popped up a couple of days ago. So The first person you're going to see is going to be um, like the instructor trainer. But I think you could use him as a reference if you so choose. But what I'm interested in is, I turn off that, got the voice off. All right. What I'm interested in is what is a specific detail that you're noticing as an overall for all of these skiers? And try to be as specific as you can be. I'm just going to kind of go through this once. This is the instructor trainer. Variable snow conditions on a black run. Even though it doesn't look that black. Is the video playing all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, we've seen quite a few skiers. We'll keep going, but the question is, what are some commonalities that we have between all of these skiers that we're watching?
The
And
first
be
thing
as
I noticed,
specific as you can be.
what I noticed is the turn shape is different than the instructors, and there tends to be more edging at the finishing part of the turn in most of them.
Can we be more specific?
Yeah, there is a sense of uh not being patient with the turns. Whereas like the instructor, the first one is very gradual, slow, patient, consistent. There is a lack of consistency in all the others. It's not no 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 no.
Well, anybody else got anything? Get really, really specific.
So I noticed that there's at turn initiation, most of the skiers are square. Their body is square.
Cool.
I
What's that
noticed
translate into?
it translates into weight being on the inside ski versus
Okay,
pressure on the outside ski.
cool. What's the
Notice,
visual evidence that you have that's happening?
I noticed that they are inclined, and then the general follow is angulation. Most of them are attempting to place their hip on the snow.
Can we be more specific?
No,
Okay, cool.
because that's the overall.
That's the first impression I got
see.
too, right? I think you're on the right track, but really, if we could really drill it down to what it is, right?
Would you say then pressure management, that they are lacking pressure management to the outside ski at turn
I think
initiation?
they're trying to do the best they can on that slope in terms of pressure management.
Mhm.
Yes, but their idea of what that execution is supposed to look like is or feel like or do is not there. But can we be really, really specific about really narrow it down?
Chuck, what I noticed, and maybe this is to
Yeah, go ahead.
John's point, was it wasn't an even flow. They would get to a certain point and they would transition really hard
Hmm.
into, inclining.
Yeah, some were more than others, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a smooth transition. It was at one point very abrupt. I saw that at about 2 to 3 skiers.
Yeah, there was some that were more abrupt than others. Most of them were pretty abrupt. They transitioned from one side to the other pretty
Yeah.
quickly, right? When you watch the first skier and second to last skier, which I think were both the instructor trainers, their transitions were kind of longer. They had longer period of time between them. Okay. But that's great. That's talking about turn shape. So that's like the overall picture again. I need to get down to the what do we need to change in order to get them to ski more like these instructors, trainers?
Hey, Chuck,
Yes, sir.
I'm noticing that as they're skiing down, their knees are somewhat closed, and when they go to change direction, their knees are open. They make that turn, and then they close their knees again.
Close your knees how? You mean this way?
Yeah,
This way?
they
Okay. So they kind of go up and then they go like this again, right?
they 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 stay more together, and then when they make the turn, they're opened up all the way.
Okay.
And then once they make that turn, then they come back down.
Yeah, not all of them do that, but a preponderance of them do that. Yes.
I'm thinking at the initiation to engage in outside ski pressure a little quicker, sooner.
Oh, how? What's the detail?
The detail is the transition from the other one. It's a long transition.
I'd be really more specific. Body parts.
They're square too long through transition, maybe.
Sure. What's that translate into in terms of body positions, body movements?
Um,
That's what I'm really, really looking
ang
for.
we're looking to increase angles, maybe more than inclination,
How are they going to increase angles?
by the position of the shoulders and
No,
directing. No, not that. Not
lower.
going. Getting lower. You mean into the ground, like
No, no,
more
not
angle.
them getting lower. It's got to be lower. Got to be closer to the ground.
Ankles.
Tipping ankles.
Well, I said increasing angles. That's kind of
Well,
what I.
sure, increasing angles, but he's being more specific about what to tip, right? We need to get really down to the really nitty gritty, right? I'm going to be kind of pounding this home all summer about making sure that we all are really good at seeing the overall picture. I mean, Alona was very, very good at identifying that they were positioned over the inside ski predominantly. Almost every one of them was produced over the inside ski. And she also correctly identified that it was mostly through some kind of banking or inclination movement, and that the angulation was really more from the hip as they kind of balanced over the inside leg.
The first few skiers though didn't
The
necessarily.
first skier was the instructor trainer.
Well,
No.
the first like three or four. Well, one of them was kind of choppy. You'd have to show it. But but the first few, I thought the ending ones didn't. Were more, yeah, inclined. But I felt like the first few were positioned
These are all
over
pretty
the
good skiers.
outside ski.
We'll see you later, Noriko. Um, yeah, these are good skiers, right? These are all potential Austrian ski instructors. They have to ski to a certain level already. right? Before they even tolerate training them. But, like I said, what is the specificity that we're looking for in order to create a change? So we've
How about
identified the problem. What is the correction?
how about maintaining counter through transition?
How? Be specific.
So in order to do that, you have to have your shoulders more aligned downhill as your skis are coming across the hill, as your feet and legs are pointing across the hill.
Okay. And what's that going to translate to?
That's going to translate to having you direct more pressure to the outside ski.
How are they going to be able to translate more pressure to the outside ski through maintaining counter through the transition?
Okay, so do we want to get into long leg, short leg?
Well, we want to be even more specific than that. We want to get really down to the dirty stuff.
Like the biomechanics of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Your
So core.
your trainer examiner is going to be asking you,
Yeah.
tell me about what is actually happening and the change that you're going to make biomechanically that's going to institute a change in their skiing.
So
And what's
muscles
that going
that
to look like?
contract, or others that
You don't
release
have to go
to
to
help
that detailed,
with
but we
the.
can, I mean, we already know that it's outside ski pressure, right? We need more pressure on the outside ski because with the Lona's already indicated that most of them are balancing on the inside ski. So we need to figure out how to get pressure off the inside ski. How do we get pressure off the inside ski?
Shorten it.
We shorten it, right?
Shorten that leg. Don't shorten the ski, shorten the leg.
We shorten the leg. How do we shorten the leg?
We flex our ankle and knee.
And knee, and hopefully the hip too, because we got to pull the knee up towards us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Pull the
right?
knee to the armpit.
There you go. And then what do we got to do with the other leg?
Well,
What are we
if one
extending?
shortens and you're on a hill, the other one is automatically going to lengthen.
Yeah, but it
Extend the
could,
knee and ankle.
yeah, we gotta extend the knees, ankles, and hips, right?
So what you're talking about is softening the old outside leg early
Hmm.
and and that's going to essentially transfer the weight to the new outside ski.
Yeah. Yeah. How do we get pressure to the new outside ski?
By releasing the pressure from the old outside
We gotta
ski.
get pressure off the old outside ski, right? I mean, but how do we do that, right? Let's be specific. We shorten one leg and we lengthen the other. How do we do that? We
Yeah.
extend the ankles, knees, and hips
It's
on one leg as we shorten the ankles or flex the ankle, knees, and hips on the other leg.
it's the
Change the
bicycle.
angles.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the angles will create themselves, right? Because we don't really create angles on purpose. We do it naturally.
Depending on the pitch level.
Yeah. Depending on the pitch. We're trying to stay in balance. We have to balance over one edge. Or ideally, we're trying to balance on the inside
Then we
edge
need
of the
to
outside ski.
develop stronger, stable upper body.
Yes. So let's look at these skiers again and see if we got a plan. I'm not looking for like a teaching progression or anything, just identifying what is actually happening. Have we identified what is happening? So this is the instructor trainer. That's pretty good skiing. This is a pretty good skier too, but was he balanced over the outside ski?
I don't think so. No.
No.
If he suddenly lost the inside ski, if it popped off, would he be safe or not?
He'd be laying on the snow.
He'd die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's the question that we're asking is specifically, he needs to be a little bit longer on the outside leg and a little bit shorter on the inside leg. and then let the angles create themselves. This is a good skier, don't get me wrong. Probably a little wild, and he's really quick through the transition as who was that? Roman? Did you say that?
No, that was not me. I
It
was talking
wasn't
about
you, it was
upper body
Ralph.
stability.
Huh?
I was talking about upper body stability.
Yeah. This is just straight inclination, right? But again, if we took away the inside leg, would he be able to survive?
mm,
But I think that moving the hips so that he's got more angulation would send pressure to the outside ski.
Mm-hmm.
That's inside leg goes too much forward. I need to kind of retract.
Well, when you're hip dumping like that, that's almost a requirement, right? Because he's actually twisting over that femur, which is pushing the inside ski forward, right?
Mhm.
That's a result of him doing that little hip dump. And he does it really early in the turn, He does it way up here. This is I did so many. Come on, get all the way back up here. This is such a long video, right? So he comes out of one turn.
And then
There's the squareness, right?
that goes right away. Inside ski falls goes forward right away.
Yeah. And look, watch the upper body start to twist to the outside a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
as he dumps in. And what happens is that biomechanically, if you're going to twist over the femur like he is, it's the inside leg has to move forward.
Mm-hmm. So
Hey,
now in this
Chuck.
case, yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
same
if we
thing.
can get his upper body forward, uh, then at that point, his movements of his skis would be a lot better if he's more forward than
You
being
think this,
aft.
are you talking about this guy?
Yeah.
How is he going to get more forward? Because I bet you if you asked him if he was forward, he'd probably tell you, I'm forward.
Yeah, he needs to move his hips forward and across to the new
How?
turn.
Let's be specific. How is he going to do that?
Uh,
Opening
flex
their
an-
knees.
flex ankles. Well,
Well, his ankles are
they-
probably as flexed as much as they're going to get against those boots,
yeah.
right? So what
So
other joints could he do?
he
Gotta
needs to
extend his
move
knees.
knees.
Yeah,
Extend a knee joint a little bit more.
there you go. That's going to get him more upright, right?
Yeah.
His thighs are going to
Correct.
be more upright. Because if we watch this skier, whoops. Sorry about that. This is tough because watch this skier, right? See how he extends forward and up with his hips,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the position we want to be in. But when we watch this skier in black, it's just after this one, he gets to there
Mm-hmm.
and he's back, right? Because he never fully extends his knees and gets over the skis. He thinks he's doing it. And the reason why he thinks he's doing it is because he's bending his hips a lot.
And look at how open his ankles are.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
when he's
shin
transitioning across, sure.
and the shin angle and the spine angle.
Well, I
Not
don't know
much.
about you, but that looks really back,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is a better skier, right?
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of the same things that are happening. There's that hip dump again, right?
He really squares up too. Look at his arms.
Sure. Yeah.
He squares up big time.
Again, the question is, if you took away his inside leg, would he be able to stand?
No.
No, if it's outside or leg or ski already sliding
Yeah,
away.
he's what we like to call overangulated, right? He's still doing that little hip dump thing. Whew, that was quick.
No, no, if his knees were open, his upper body could be forward over the skis,
Yep.
and I mean, he could have the weight to the outside ski real easy. I mean, he'd be in a better balance and better. Uh, his inclinations would be good. I mean, he'd be more spot on, or
Right.
at least that's what I'm seeing. I mean, I know when I ski, if I'm really in the groove, I'm leaning out over the front of my skis, and I do real good. It's when I go to sit back that I just kind of mess up.
Yeah. Cool.
I also noticed that the stance on majority of the skiers is fairly wide. And
It
I don't,
is. It
I,
is. When you're sitting back, you need all that stability, right?
yes, so I think that that is also affecting their inability to direct pressure to the outside ski.
Oh, I agree. I agree. All right. So let's contrast this with somebody who I think is, I don't even know how old she is. I think she's 12. So this is a good example of someone who's on rollerblades. And guess what? The pavement is very unforgiving, right? And your platform is about this long from wheel to wheel, from inside wheel to inside, or from front wheel to back wheel, right? So balance is really, really, really critical. And because she um, turns the inside ankle over so much, there's not much pressure on that inside skate, almost none. Functionally, it's none. Because as soon as you break your ankle over in inline skates, the pressure is too great if you put a lot of weight on it. So she's actually the opposite of what we're watching these folks do. If you took away the inside skate, she would still be skating.
Ends up helping when the video's going with this.
I'm sorry?
It with with the still shot, you don't quite see it, but once the video's
Oh,
rolling,
yeah.
you can actually see it.
Yeah. One of the things I'm working on my rollerblading is doing that ankle breakover like she does with the inside. Look how just early she does it, how much she does it. I can't do that. So I end up skating more like the guys in the video, the guys that are skiers, right? Even though I ski more like she skates where I skate like they ski. I balance on the inside foot almost too much because it's scary.
I hope you wear knee pads.
Huh?
I hope you wear knee pads.
I wear a knee sleeve, yeah. So this, I'm not saying that this is what you all got to go out tomorrow to start doing and rollerblading, but as a consequence of the kind of tasks that she's doing, these kind of medium radius turns that she's making, the alignment has to happen. She can't dump to the inside because if you fall to the inside, that's hello pavement. Cool. Helpful? Yes, no, maybe? Don't everybody
Yes.
speak at once.
It's good to look at skiers again.
It's helpful, but I'm a traditional roller skater, not
You're
an
a
inline.
tradition, yeah. You just lean over because it turns itself.
Well, we had two skating rinks growing up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean you do kind of the same thing. You have to still turn your feet. Rollerblades, you have to turn your feet. There's no, if you put it on edge, it does not turn itself. It just goes on edge. So you have to like physically turn your legs. So yeah, that's what makes it really, really good for skiing. All right, comments. This was a clinic tonight, so feel free to blow me up. No?
I
All
think
right.
it's good to keep talking skiing again because my brain has been dead since we last met,
Yeah.
and I've been taking a vacation, a skication, actually,
A
from,
skication. There you
from
go.
all of this. So it's good to get back into it.
All right. Yeah, good. Um, sorry to kind of ambush you guys like that. But I really wanted to stress the point that we really will, one of the things I got from Dionne last year that I probably avoided in my own clinic, webinars is that she really kind of drilled you guys down into those microscopic details that I need to be making sure that you're doing too. Because those are the things that the examiners are really going to be interested in. Yeah. All right, cool. Everybody excited for the summer? Yes?
Yep. Looking forward to what's coming ahead.
Got all this cool stuff we're going to do?
Oh my gosh, you got it written down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to. I have to be reasonably organized.
Well, thanks for putting this together. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome that you've put a
Yes.
lot of work into it and it's greatly
Absolutely.
appreciated.
No,
Good
no
Yes.
problem.
start.
Thank you.
So much.
And I'm
No,
enjoying watching your dog in the background.
I saw that too, yeah.
Thank
He's
you.
running around. Yeah. All right.
Thank
Thank you very
you and
much.
good
And
night. Good night.
Take care.
we'll
Thank
see
you,
you guys
everyone.
in
Thank
2
you.
weeks.
2 weeks.
All
We
right.
won't be doing it
Night.
next week. Obviously, it's a holiday
Right.
weekend. So
Good
enjoy
for
your
you.
holidays. Shoot off lots of guns and fireworks.
Yeah.
Especially you,
No,
Rebecca.
Blow
I know
stuff
you.
up.
don't play with firecrackers.
Yeah, she does.
Don't play.
Rebecca's got those new 45. She's just dying to shoot. So
Oh.
Yeah, right.
No comment.
In Brooklyn,
All
right?
right.
all
Bye.
right,
Night.
we'll see you guys in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
Good
Bye.
night.